fucking day.
Wow, that's how we're doing this now?
Yeah.
That's what this episode is?
Out the gate.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Out the fucking gizate.
Awesome.
Here's my thing.
Oh, you're starting.
Devin came for you.
He did. He really did.
Who's the one fucking Catholic person in the room?
Yeah.
Christmas isn't real. Jesus is a fucking fake. Santa's a fraud.
Easter's a lie.
Easter's a lie.
So let's address the fact. Let's address the fact that what he said isn't
Valid.
Isn't a lie. It's not.
It is valid.
So here's instead of going on a whole diatribe about this, I'm just going to sum it up really easily.
Sure, please.
Because what he was talking about with like Easter and the equinox and how it was kind of, for lack of a better term, appropriated. It was. I mean, you're talking about the church hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and as Christianity is spreading across the northern half of the European continent, there's one way to go. There's two ways to go about it. You either brutalize the entire groups of peoples that are living there, or you assimilate. And the church went with the latter. They assimilated with the cultures that already existed there and implemented the religious rites of the church into the religious rites of the pagan peoples that were living in like the British Isles.
Bunny.
Well, yeah. Well, the bunny. So the whole bunny thing, like, and somebody that knows more about that specifically can talk about that. But from my understanding of it, from my surface level understanding of it, is there's some connection with the Easter bunny and the fertility rites of like the pagan people. And the relation
complicated than I thought.
And the relationship with like the equinox and the like the spring fertility rituals and things like that.
Holy shit.
So
there's so much to this.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is hundreds and hundreds of years of history.
I get that, but like, fuck, there's like, so how much of it is pagan and how much of it is fucking Christful?
Well, so just for example, like what Devin said about like Christ not being born in December.
When I say he came for you, I mean the way
I mean the way he said it.
He could make that point in a very simple way where he's just like, well, here's the thing. He could have like brought it up as an interesting conversation topic, but he was like, listen here.
It was aggressive.
You fucking church going fucking sheep.
No, I think it is important though, on a serious note. I think it is important for people to know the scholarly aspects of those things, because most scholars agree, scholars including church scholars agree that Christmas as we celebrate it is nowhere near where like the point in time when Christ would have been born.
I can't help but feel like them's is fighting words to other people though.
Well, yeah, because there are people that exist that are like strict biblicists. Catholics are not biblicists. Like, we do not believe that, like the modern church does not teach that the Bible is literal.
The modern church ain't biblicists.
No, like if
Life Point.
So you're saying the Pope hates the Bible?
No, I'm saying that the Catholic Church as a whole agrees that like God did not flood the entire world. There's no evidence to support an event like that occurring. But various religions and cultures around the entire world in the same rough span of time like show evidence and have written histories of like massive flooding events occur. And so like that is what is believed to be the root of not only like Noah's Ark and the Christian viewpoint of the quote unquote flood, but like other various cultures and religions that have flood mythologies. Because there are flood mythologies all throughout like the Middle East.
This is one of those things where Jesus Christ is a real person in a census, but not necessarily. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of getting into like the New Testament and everything.
Did you ever have a Christian face? Were you? I can't remember because you were born and raised in the South piece.
I mean, growing up, we went to like Presbyterian churches, but from the stories I've been told from my family, was honestly because my fucking parents thought my sister was the devil.
I'm sorry.
What?
Just like she was just wild and like so hard to control, and she would just wander off and just she caused mayhem. And my mom was like, I don't know, I just tried everything. Yeah, we needed some structure. So we started going to church, but then like she was like, nobody wanted to get up on Sundays.
So it's like going to church.
So we just stopped going.
So it was like Jesus take the leash.
Yeah, almost.
The baby leash. She couldn't keep a control on her, so she bought Christ brand baby leashes.
Yeah, I never really understood, like, I don't know. I never got into religion. Like, I went to Sunday school and stuff.
Like, how long were you, you couldn't get out of going to church anymore? Or at all? Like,
what do you mean? I mean, like
eventually, okay, so like when I was a kid, obviously my parents were like, "You're going to church," and if they were going to church, I'm going to church.
That's where every parent fucks up. Parent.
That I could totally see that, but at some point, it was like up to me. Like I could easily make it a thing, and they'll be like, "Whatever, he's not coming."
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it kind of simultaneously happened for our whole family.
What do you mean?
They all just sat around the dinner table and agreed that it was
Sunday
bullshit to wake up.
No,
There's good shit on TV on Sundays.
It's football.
We would get up to go to church. Everyone just fucking hated it. My parents hated it. We hated it. And we were like, okay, we're going to church. Fuck, gotta get dressed. And then just one day, we just didn't. We just didn't.
I love that.
We just stopped. Because I think it was just my parents like, no, I'm just not going to.
I don't want to.
No, I don't want to.
That's great. That didn't happen for us. I tried really hard for a bit, and it was just, for some pussy.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Then I stopped, and I think everybody kind of followed. Gab was out of the... My sister was just not with it from the get-go.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was mostly because there was nobody there of interest.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't for that girl, I probably would have gotten out of it easier. Also, free jiu-jitsu classes after Sunday.
Sure.
Seriously. The guy actually trained a guy who was a top 15 contender.
All right.
Yeah. He was great, but then I fucked his daughter.
For the Lord.
And then I was like, I'm going to get tied into a fucking knot if I go to class.
Yep.
And to be honest, I probably threw away thousands of dollars worth of free training.
Sure.
For that. It was not that good.
Did he know, or did you?
He found out. They caught us. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. It seemed like a worthy sacrifice at the time because at that time getting laid is so important.
Sure.
But
looking back on it.
Oh my God. He trained Nate Marquardt.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude's a fucking... I could Google him right now and Joe Rogan brings him up on the regular. He's a real fighter. And there's pictures of this dude. He is taller than that guy. And he's a major in the Marine Corps at the time. And I sexed his daughter.
Your stupid ass thought it would be a good idea to... Yeah.
My fucking heathen ass came in there.
Here's my thing. So you said so that was how that went about.
That's how it ended.
You got walked in on, like full on, or he just discussed. Okay.
Oh my God, I would have died. You wouldn't know me.
You would have been photoshopped into some fucking clouds.
Yeah. They would have been excommunicated from the church he was just fucking vaporizing it. Just fucking glare.
So this is where I was going with this. Have you ever been walked in on then?
Having sex?
Mid-coitus.
So here's the thing, related to her. It wasn't them, but we were messing around in the parking lot of her community college.
Sure.
And it was way after hours.
Yeah.
And though thankfully we had been at it for long enough that the windows were steamed up.
Wow.
And the security guard went fucking duk, 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 knocked on the window. Time to move on. Exact words. And he just left.
Oh, at least
for all I know, my bare ass was pressed to the window. But he knew the deal.
Yeah.
Carolina Coastal Community College parking lot.
Noel ever walked in on mid-coitus?
No.
This is like an evolution of that have you ever been caught mid-peen in hand conversation? You never saw that highlight from this show?
I don't think so.
Oh, are we about to play one of our own clips on this show?
That's really meta.
It is. Holy shit.
Can you just explain it to me?
Taylor had walked in for the best bit and told us his story.
Yeah.
But we were all talking about, have you ever been caught peen in hand masturbating?
Oh.
And he told us his stories like about he almost did. And I mean, I won't tell his story, but the moral story is he broke the cardinal rule. He was wearing jeans. You can't if someone's walking in and you're wearing jeans, that's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Doors opening, you're at the computer, pants are on around your ankles, and you're wearing fucking denim. That's the worst case scenario.
No, it's rough.
That's the worst. And it was the shared computer. So there's no time to like. So I remember the conclusion, it wasn't in the clip. When he wasn't allowed to watch South Park. So he was like, what's better to get caught doing? Masturbating or watching South Park? So I'm pretty sure he left the top button unzipped because there was no getting there. But he did just switch back to South Park. And he was watching South Park. So his mom reprimanded him for watching South Park instead of beating his shit.
That's the worst.
But I've never been caught like mid grip.
Have you?
You did.
Yeah,
kind of.
There's been times.
That's in the bit too. That's in the clip too.
Yeah. I've never it's always been like nobody's ever walked in and seen my fucking peen out. But
never seen the furious strokes.
I have.
If they hadn't, the kind of getting caught we're talking about is like they have to say something out loud to stop you. Like you are otherwise would keep going. That's how bad it would be. I think you were just short of that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was gonna say I win that one then.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
what do you mean, really?
Finish your thing first.
Well, I got caught right at the door to my room was opening right at climax, and so it was awful.
Oh, it was like Stan in South Park, just nut everywhere.
But he contained it.
Yeah.
In his sweats.
Yeah.
So
so you just
he just flew a tarp over it and fucking. So it was happening still. But his parents weren't aware.
So your mom's just making eye contact with you as you're just like, no, you're just hands free.
Eyes were forward. I was not looking at anybody.
They're straight ahead.
No.
But did they were aware of the event?
No, I don't think
they weren't sure what they were looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. So you kind of were caught. You still had to suffer.
Yeah.
What did you have us beat then?
Yeah, you caught me. You walked in on me beating my meat when we lived at fucking Pinewood.
I did?
Yes.
Oh.
I was laying in my bed. I had just gotten home from work. Like I hadn't been home. I hadn't been home for like 10 minutes. And you know like my normal routine. Like normally I'd like come in, unwind. I'd go upstairs, undress, put my robe on, pour a glass of wine. This particular day,
glass of wine for yourself.
This particular day, I don't know what it was. I just remember I really just wanted to beat it, like right after work. So I just beelined upstairs, got undressed, got into bed, and like. You walked upstairs and I forgot to lock my door because I just never assumed you would just come in my room. And it wasn't malicious. But like you were asking me if I was hungry. you were like mid sentence as you were opening the door, like, hey man, are you like, oh god? And I just
repressed this.
Oh, you faxed it. You faxed it. Because I was straight beating it. And I was just like, I just remember being like, can you give me a minute?
If someone put a gun to my head, I'd be like, I have no idea what Tyler's penis looks like.
Well, no, so this is what I do. If I'm like in bed, I have like the covers covering me up to like here. And I have like a bundle. I create like a mountain of like the blankets like here. So there's like a shield, right?
Sure.
And like the way that my bed
tent, like it's
like so you remember like the way that like my bed was like in the corner up against the wall, so like I could see like the door was right there, it was like right in my line of sight.
Yeah.
So like
And mine.
if an incident like that occurred, I could have a modesty shield there to prevent my peen from being observed. And I remember you just going, "Whoa!"
See what I love about the whoa? It's out loud, it was whoa. In my head, I was like, whoa, no, no.
That's funny, and Trevor doesn't even remember it.
I can't believe you don't remember that.
Legitimately, this is news to me.
Bro, I thought that was a shared memory we were going to have
What
forever.
if Tyler was actually just dreaming and he fantasized about Trevor walking in?
And that's how you climaxed that day.
Yep, that was it.
Imagine you're that.
No, so that was me getting caught.
You got the reference. Stupid ass fucking thing.
That was me getting caught beating my meat, but I've been walked in on like straight mid-coitus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait,
like
okay.
full on
Now,
mid-stroke.
This is the kind of specificity I want. Was it they had to say something to stop you, or you were aware of their entry?
Oh, no. So this is what happened. Mid-stroke, my mom walks in,
Pumping.
sees me like on top, like doing the do, and she just stands there. And I have to yell at her to get the fuck out, because she came in like trying to ask me a question. I don't even fucking remember what it was, but she's like,
Did she still ask you the question?
no, I was screeching at her like a fucking howler monkey to get the fuck out.
Well, you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me.
Not gonna talk about that.
Wait, what does her name start with? Can you give me the letter?
I'm not doing that either.
Okay.
This is a public forum.
If you had sex with 3 people, I'd be like, okay, don't do that. But you've got your body count. You could definitely hide it with 1 letter.
S.
Okay, that's a close enough range. I can square that off. I get where we're at. What era of time? You were living where?
I was living. It was when I was
you were
staying
living with your mom.
in the outside, but I was in the outside room. I wasn't staying in because
Wow, so
I was
they thought you had the safety of your shack.
Like she had to come all the way out to the shack.
She crossed the yard.
Yeah.
Damn.
Open the screen door and the main door.
Rita, that is 100% within the rider. Of your contract with her.
Yeah.
That is in there. Like, I want all green M&Ms. Rita's gonna walk in on me having sex for sure. She would do something like that. Mom would be. I think my mom would put like a fucking stethoscope to the ground before if she thought there was any possibility.
Oh yeah, no, my mom.
Like, I'm not gonna fucking do this.
I don't know if my mom just like. I guess I don't know what was going through her head, but my mom was like, when my mom found out that I was having sex. I had already had sex with multiple people, and she was fucking mind blown. She was like, "How could this have happened? I
believe this."
Yeah, like how could it? When were you having sex? And I was like, literally in your living room when you were home. Like it's like the fact that I didn't get caught is on you. Like that's not me.
That's true.
Like that's like. Like that's all you. Like
No.
that's just.
What are the odds that your parents would watch this podcast?
I don't know. My mom asked me about it. I think
I've not mentioned
Abby brought
this
it
to
up.
anyone in my family.
Abby brought it up, and I was like, I'm not telling you what the name of it is.
Okay, good. Because here's what I'm going to ask you next. No, I already know the answer to this question. Never mind. I can't ask that question. Because it reminded me, the story you told me was about, like, you know, it was just mind blown that you would even have sex.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like my mom had no idea my sister was smoking weed. And she would, like, walk in on her blowing a puff. She had no idea.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you that, like, what the consequences of you getting caught. But they've never caught you. They have no idea.
Oh, no, they've caught me before.
Smoking weed?
Yeah.
Oh.
In high school.
I thought they were still not in the know.
I mean, they're not. I've told them I've quit. Since
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't just leave it ambiguous. See, I felt like that would
We're
have
gonna
been
have to cut this part of the podcast.
Sure, I can do that. Fine. We'll move on.
No, we can't do that.
No, we're gonna cut that.
Look at you right now. There's no way that if they're watching this podcast, they don't just fucking know that you're not sore.
You're just blitzed out of your mind. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm stone sober.
you're stoned something.
Delta 8. You and Devin took some Delta hate. Delta hate.
Delta hate gummies.
Delta hate gummies. So Tyler, tell me about your experiences with Delta 8 versus weed. Do you remember the differences since you're like not a smoker?
Yeah, I didn't fucking hate my life after smoking Delta 8.
So you would do it again?
I'll do anything when I'm fucking drunk, Trevor.
I know that.
Like, what kind of question is that?
I guess I hadn't been confirmed because we're always skeptical about whether or not you're going to do it. I should give you psychedelics.
No, because then we're getting into the whole Ari Shafir fucking Burt
That was
Kreischer.
MDMA. That's actually not good for you.
No, here's my thing.
Giving someone Molly is different than giving someone LSD, and I think Nolan can corroborate that. Like, you can't. The MDMA has amphetamines in it, and that's not good.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with that. You can't do that to me. I'd end up fucking like jumping off a bridge or something.
What if you?
Like,
What if you felt amazing though?
No, here's my thing. You don't know that, and it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're gonna feel that way when I fucking kill myself.
Oh no!
Just make sure you have a GoPro with you.
Yeah, we need that footage. See, here's
you can get it from the bottom of the river.
Yeah, see, if he jumps off of something, that GoPro footage is rad. If he shoots himself, that is not good GoPro footage.
No,
that's just like when someone drops their phone off of out of their car. It just flips, and you don't understand what you're looking at, and then it hits the ground, and it's just carnage.
Yeah.
What if Kurt Cobain was wearing a GoPro when he shot himself in the face?
We would know who killed him.
What the fuck are you talking about? It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, we would know who.
Listen,
I mean, we would finally fucking prove that it was Courtney Love.
Dude, or the hitman that she hired. Yeah. Look, I don't subscribe to most conspiracy theories.
This podcast just got cut short.
But
we're not going to be able to do another episode. We're going to walk out into that living room. There's going to be a bunch of men in suits. There's going to be a lizard there,
I'm
too.
not.
There's going to be a lizard in a fucking gi. They're fucking waiting there, crisscross applesauce, and he's going to fucking do a jutsu on us and blow our minds. Literally.
I'm not. I don't even fucking entertain the damn like moon bullshit and like all that fucking garbage nonsense. Yeah, like that's all stupid. But like to me, I don't even see the Kurt Cobain thing as like a conspiracy. I guess you can call it a conspiracy, but like to me, I just feel like it wasn't investigated enough.
They don't really investigate suicides.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, and that's
just on default.
Yeah,
suicide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know? Because I feel like you just know more about legal stuff than me, like law stuff. What makes them investigate? What
a suicide?
Yeah, like I mean, obviously there have been suicides that have been investigated, and they found out that this was a murder.
Well, so
Do you know specifically what triggers? I'm sure it's different state to state.
Well,
it gets written off, and then
there's some detail.
Then somebody starts asking questions, and then somebody else starts to look into.
But what makes them list? Because some people just get blown off.
Well, what I was gonna say was, it's for me, it's easier to answer what makes it so they don't investigate as much, which is when like somebody leaves a handwritten note and they verify that it's in their handwriting, and like forensics analysts are crazy. Like they can tell if somebody's writing under duress and shit like that. Like it's crazy because they can do like composite analyzations of like the handwriting styles and stuff like that if they're writing it really fast or and shit like that. But if somebody leaves behind like a handwritten note or something like that, that will kind of make it an open and shut case. That's like I always tell people, if I don't leave a handwritten note, like if I don't leave a handwritten suicide note, I got fucking murdered.
Well, look at this.
I got murdered.
Somebody killed me. This is, but leaving a suicide note is not a random phenomenon. A minority varying between 3 to 42%. That's a huge range of all suicide victims leave a note. So it's still in the minority of people that leave notes. to compare the.
Well, that's because most suicides are really impulsive decisions.
That's fair.
A majority of suicides are like not well planned.
Well planned.
Well, like some people make it like really meticulous.
Yeah, people like leave 13 different tapes sent out to 13 different people.
There was a guy. There was a guy.
and
There was a
pay
guy in
attention.
England. I don't know when this was, but I do know that it was a real thing. Because I've seen the crime scene photos. There was a guy in England that built a guillotine in his bedroom and guillotined himself. He built a self-rigged guillotine that he could like pull a pin and cut his own head off. Yeah.
That's a lot. So the whole time, I mean, that's
a bit like he might have been a bit of a zealot.
I mean, I don't know what the situation was.
There's no other details about this.
I didn't read it further. I saw the photos, and for me, that was enough. I pieced out after that.
Google.
I pieced out after that.
This is the after dark fucking.
Yeah, sure.
Dude, I thought it was going to be like,
No,
tell me about your first wet dream, not like, oh, let's go on to fucking make like r/make my coffin.
But like, okay, man who guillotined suicide.
UK guillotine suicide.
Guillotine suicide UK. It's a suggested search. Horror as man uses guillotine to commit suicide. Jesus, that takes days to build some. Like, unless you're just. Really,
you also have to be like really like good because like the balances and shit. Like you have to measure like the weight of the blade properly.
I mean, not unless you just go hard and make a heavy blade, because you only have to use it once.
That's not wrong. That's not a wrong statement.
I mean, if you really wanted to, you could just hang a rock from your fucking roof.
The sad part is like I'm pretty sure he didn't like completely decapitate himself.
Holy shit! His dad discovered his son. Oh my god!
36-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah, he like didn't show up to work for like a few days or something like that, and then they found him in his bedroom.
Activated.
A timer? That's intricate.
Wow. 36-year-old father is also Boyd. Okay, of course also Boyd is his fucking dad. That's the worst thing. When do you stop having nightmares about that? That doesn't even seem real. That seems like something you would see in a fever dream. See, these are the things that you would see if you tripped acid, I guess.
Yeah, see, that's why I can't do that shit. Because I've spent way too much time on, like, Live Link. And, like, I've seen way too much dark shit.
So I guess if you and I decided to watch Your Mom's House live, we can't do acid anymore.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Dude. The clips that we're aware of. We haven't even watched one of these things yet. We were watching an episode of Your Mom's House. And they had Chris DiStefano on. And they were like, hey, you were on one of our lives. You missed a few clips out of the new one. Let's show you on their regular show. So the YouTube version, they don't show you, but they do show you their faces reacting to it. And I can tell you for certain some of the clips they were looking at. And one of them were wasps crawling in and out of someone's uncircumcised penis.
Like through the urethra?
Yep. Going inside.
My boy.
Going inside.
They were describing it.
How do you do you train the wasps?
I think they just put honey on it and then they kept it. I would imagine.
Wasps fuck with honey like bees?
I don't know, dude. But they were fucking. You heard it.
They're wasps. Wasp will find any kind of hole or anything they can fucking get into. They will.
I'm more impressed by that than disgusted.
You're impressed by the wasp instead of the fucking.
That's ingenious. I think.
Why?
Who the fuck would ever come up with that?
Tyler Cohen.
A fucking savage.
A savage.
I'm not saying I would do it to myself.
Eli Roth, Tyler.
Oh God, Tyler.
Listen,
It's not the reaction I thought.
There are limits to what man needs to explore.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not saying it's a good idea.
No.
I'm saying that it's innovative.
But it's not innovative because it's not a good idea.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought of it.
Not all
I would
innovative
not have thought of
ideas
that.
are good. Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of that.
It's thinking outside of the box.
Outside of the cock.
I guess.
Thinking inside the cock.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's the opposite direction of where we need to go. It's like thinking outside of the box the wrong way.
Sure.
Trevor, you got to understand. So, do you not remember the conversations like me and Zach Kernweiss would have at lunch? At like 16 years old, we're devising like the most horrific ways to like torture human beings.
I understand, but then you hear and know that there's video of a man who orchestrated and set up the performative experience of you watching wasps enter and exit his fucking dick like a nightclub. I think that's
generous. So that we can observe it without having to experience it ourselves.
I don't want to be friends with them.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fucking thoughts right now.
I'm just saying he went where no man had gone before.
But he also went where no man should have.
I'm not disagreeing with
that. These are the words of a defense lawyer right now. Like, I don't know. I kind of get it. I kind of get why he did it. She was being a bitch. Fucking...
Listen, I'm not saying that it was smart. I'm not saying that it's healthy or good for you or that anyone should emulate it.
Not.
But the fact that he was willing to do that and also record it, and make it public so that other people could, be disgusted by it. I'm disgusted by it. It's foul. Yeah, it's a foul occurrence, and I'm sad that someone came up with it. But at the same time, it's kind of impressive.
That was the one that took us out, I think. And we weren't even watching these.
Yeah, well, and there was also one about fucking somebody cutting the fucking tip of their, sticking a scalpel in their urethra and just.
I've seen people who have
if this was it and it was going straight down through it like your hot dog.
Well, I've seen shit where people who have
I got woozy there.
People have vivisected their whole penis, they cut it down the middle from the urethra and they split it open.
I've watched both of the fucking BME Pain Olympics.
Oh, that's nothing.
What do you mean, though? Isn't it similar things?
That's so base.
What do you mean base? Base what for whom?
That's such a low bar to me at this point.
That's base for people who live in a padded room, Tyler. What the fuck do you mean base? Two things from the BME Pain Olympics. Two things. Two of the craziest things that you're aware of.
I saw somebody cut one of their testicles out of their own sack.
What do you mean base? What do you mean?
I've seen timeline photos of people who have purposefully cut off the circulation to their penis with bands and stuff to the point where it turned black and literally fell off.
I could deal with that more than someone fucking cutting their testicle out.
Oh, I've seen that shit too. People who have turn themselves into eunuchs on purpose and shit.
This is the weirdest pissing contest.
And done their own sutures and shit on their pee holes.
Okay.
On their new pee holes. I just
those people must not live very long.
No. Probably not. There was that one clip they were saying that the guy probably died and within 15 minutes of the video being over.
Yeah, no one
were it was some dude, I think, getting fucked in the ass while he had these throbbing anal warts that were bursting.
See, that's gross to me.
Okay, so what? Okay, no. Let me fucking get the topography of Tyler's fucking world here.
So mutilation is fine.
Let's fucking do this for the next 30 minutes. Let's find out. So someone just getting their fucking penis getting split down the middle like an Oreo is just whatever.
Milk toast.
Base, as one might say.
Some are known to say.
Some Christian folks are known to say.
Is this what you Catholics do in church? Is this what
we practice torture techniques?
Church-going folks are known to say.
This is actually what happens in the confessional booths. They just fucking slide each other pieces of paper with links to the fucking dark web, where they share and trade fucking mutilation.
Where's the 4chan temple?
Yeah.
What gets you then? When you get nauseous from watching content, what is that content?
In all seriousness?
Yes.
Anything that involves hurting animals and children.
But if I slap a kid, that's funny. If I slap a kid, that could be funny.
It's kind of funny.
Just me saying it gets you chortled.
No, I'm talking about there's this one video that I think genuinely...
I don't even know they need to know the video. Just give me So Michael Jackson dangling a kid over the balcony. Not
Well, that's like upsetting, but like, no, I'm talking about like the video that there's like some like street surveillance footage from China where it's like a whole family and they're walking down the street and a drunk driver comes through and barrels over the entire family except like the toddler, and there's just little girl
wait.
left.
How does that happen? Oh, she just barely got out of
Just
the way.
barely out of the way, and she's just standing there like looking for her family. That breaks my heart. Like that messed me up.
Okay, but here's
we're not talking about like what upsets you or like
no, that is emotionally fucked.
like emotional fucking.
I'm talking about vomit.
Yeah, like just like a visceral reaction. Like you feel it in your gut, or you feel it in your
Like how some people like when they see puke, they have to puke.
Yeah.
So where's that reaction?
Honestly, like I like anything with like scat like churns my stomach. Like
Really?
two
See,
girls,
that's the
two
thing.
girls,
Okay,
one cup.
here's
Like
the-
I can't.
Here's what's funny
That's
about-
fucking foul.
Here's what's funny about
like
that.
you're sick.
They're talking about the Your Mom's House live videos.
Yeah.
And this is the carnage and the mutilation is a new lane for them that's actually taking a lot of their viewers out. Because it's a challenge. It's a dare kind of video.
Yeah.
You sign up for these Your Mom's House lives because they're not on YouTube. They're exclusive. They're uncensored. They're doing crazy shit. And the heavy segment, the segment of the show where they play this kind of content, is supposed to be the most you're getting dared. The rest of it's pretty silly and obviously inappropriate. But this is the part where you're supposed to be challenged, right? This is Tom Segura's wet dream. But the carnage is new. Most of what they used to do was shit stuff.
Yeah. See, the carnage I can breeze through that. I can't do
Like
the
a dude
scat.
that was bathing in a
crap.
fucking
Like,
like a drainage ditch, or like there was one guy who was like in a BDSM costume inside a septic tank.
Oh, dude, that's fucking.
They actually
gross.
put that on YouTube. That was actually on YouTube, and he's like fucking taking it and rubbing it on his face and like taking scoops of it.
Well, like I think there's a certain level of like the scat stuff that I could handle, but like the two girls, like where they're literally like eating it.
Oh,
like
no, it's pretty.
Thinking about it now makes me fucking.
Can you hit that
ill.
second switch for me? It's kind of getting toasty in here.
my only thing about Two Girls One Cup is like I didn't believe it.
It didn't get you hard enough.
No, I just didn't believe it. Like I just
What did you think it was?
it looked like fucking like
Like a
it
dessert.
almost looked like soft serve ice cream.
What does your
That
poop
is-
look like?
I mean, not
Well, does it not depend on what you eat? Is it always
We're
uniform?
describing the poop.
I guess it does.
It's almost 2 a.m. What the fuck do you
Sure, I
expect?
guess you're right. Fucking okay. So I know what now. I know what you mean. It's burned into my memory. I know what you mean. But could you imagine though, because of how performative and how prepared they were?
There were some of the scenes where like it literally you saw it coming out of her ass, and I was like,
Okay, there it is.
I was like,
even if it is ice cream, that's foul.
yeah, that's gross. It's still
Yeah.
fucking gross.
I've seen.
I don't know, the shit where the girl is eating the Fruit Loops out of the other
was
girl's
literally
asshole.
about to-
that's awful.
That's hysterical.
The speculum
No, that's
in her
fucking
asshole?
funny. That's fucking funny. I don't care who you are. That's fucking funny. Fucking Fruit Loops.
It's fucking awful.
So Nolan does not eat ass. Like that's
That's
established.
established. Well, here's the thing. I don't know though, because I do, obviously, and
Like we all just fucking assume. Yeah, oh yeah, Trevor. He fucking eats ass.
I mean-
on the daily.
okay. I guess I'm assuming details that have not been disclosed on the podcast, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
That still would never happen. A speculum. in
I'm not
someone's
saying
ass.
that I would do it either, but I think it's funny
How much does it cost?
for me to eat Fruit Loops out of somebody's asshole.
Speculum and everything. A Clockwork Orange style, but out of her ass. I want. By the way,
I'd do it for 10 grand.
10 grand. That's it.
Yeah, that's my low number.
What's your high number?
I mean, I would start out in like
What's your high number to pretend you were enjoying it?
to be like into it.
This is a video.
You're gonna have to do like 250K. Like
enough
you're gonna have
money
to do a lot of money
that you're thinking about it the whole time.
to get me to like act like be into
And
it.
enough
Like
money that it is so much money that you are actually thinking about it while you're doing it. That you're distracted by how much money you're about to make.
oh yeah, you gotta do you gotta give me a small
Like
fortune.
$250,000.
Yeah,
That's not a bad
base.
number.
Like that's the lowest.
I was gonna say like
Here's my thing.
450,000.
To me, there are certain things that like in these hypotheticals that like I could argue a case for going lower, but like in this situation, this is just one of those things where like if you're asking me what my number is and you're gonna pay me that number to do this,
Without a doubt, no taxes.
it's gonna have to be $1 million plus.
Well, here's so
Because
let me
this is just something like there's no reason for me to do this.
let me
for any
let me provide some rationale real quick. All right, just real fast. Every time anyone poses one of those hypotheticals to me where it's like oh, how much for you to like chop your fucking foot off, like, or anything, whatever, like any that's just a weird example, but like anything like that, I'm always what I always factor into my mind the buyer, so to speak. Like how much money are they gonna be willing to spend on this particular like torture of me? Like if somebody's asking me to like mutilate myself, like it's gonna be a fuckload of money.
Well,
like
that's
a
what I was about to
fuckload
say.
of money.
The cutting off the foot is like that last.
Like Elon Musk would be having to ask me to do this shit.
You eat ass Cheerios. That is done. Once you make sure you're not sick, that's over. It's in your mind. That's it. You cut off your foot, that's with you forever.
You gotta afford
You
the
gotta be able to
prosthetic.
buy me the foot. It
Yeah.
has to be a very good foot. Like I have to be able to do kick flips and shit still.
Like I want like a robot foot.
Yeah.
I want some
I want
sick
Luke's
shit.
fucking hand. I want Luke Skywalker level tech.
Sure.
And honestly, but the problem with that though is if we're at that era where we're getting prosthetics that quality, I probably would just get my foot replaced with it anyway.
Sure.
It would be like, oh, you're paying me to get a free robot foot that will never get sore. That's kind of not.
That's your fucking foot, man.
Now this is not my foot. And this new robot foot is not my foot. I don't know what you mean.
The only way
Not my
I
foot
would
anymore.
the only way I would get on that level with you is if like it had like feeling.
That's what
Like
I'm
if
saying.
it
No, I'm talking
felt
about full experience.
if it felt like a foot.
You're telling me Luke could swing that bitch as well as you could without being able to feel the saber in his hand?
I don't fucking know.
I'm saying he could probably feel with those fingers. I'm assuming.
Bro,
I'm assuming when they do that.
Yeah, I mean, how else was he gonna fucking brush the fucking dust off of his tape in the face of Kylo Ren if he couldn't fucking feel his fingers?
We don't talk about that. He never faced off against Kylo Ren. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're even talking about. What movie is that? Is this a Star Trek?
so
Is this the Star Wars Trek?
here's my thing.
Oh no.
We were discussing like dark places that we've been on the internet, and I found myself in a particularly dark place. So the original subreddit that I found myself in was a subreddit dedicated to creating satire
About midget.
of the content from another subreddit.
Okay.
And this satire subreddit was like
What is
bonkers. So I was like, I gotta see what's going on the actual subreddit. And I discovered a whole class of human beings that I had no idea fucking existed. So this shit is called r/female dating strategy. And the whole gist of the ladies that are on this subreddit and active
We're
and
sure
post.
they're ladies.
Oh yeah. Just wait. The whole gist of their life motto is they're female incels. Yeah, they're anti-incels, as I like to call them. They are the female counterparts to incels.
But can that even happen?
According to the multitude of women that are very active on this subreddit, because every fucking thread I read had like dozens of comments.
I can see that.
Like it's
I'm trying to put my head there because look, the way I think about it, guys are always going to be guys. I mean, with obviously outliers in mind. With women, there is always a dude desperate enough, right? As long as you are willing to lower your standards enough, there's always a dude desperate enough.
But
with guys, it is much less likely you'll find a woman desperate.
you also gotta think about
But that's the thing with incels.
where they might, their location, where they're at, their circle of people, their group.
But with the advent of the internet, if you're willing to go the right lengths, you have access to hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah, I was going to say any like fat, sweaty nerd in their mom's basement can find a female fat, sweaty nerd in their mom's basement. They exist. I mean,
like, not that they can't find, not that they don't exist, but will they make themselves
available,
findable to that guy?
Yeah, because they fucking exist on the internet.
Well, tell me about the subreddit then.
So, all right. So I'm just gonna provide examples because I really think that they themselves, like, I can't do it justice.
Yeah.
He, she, they, them, themselves.
So, user.
Sorry.
I used to lurk. Asked, have you noticed LVM yawning when intimidated by a conversation? Oh, they have a whole language, by the way. Let me explain.
Oh, no,
Let me explain it. Let me explain it. An LVM is a low value male. Yeah.
Like a stock. Like a low value stock.
Yeah. And an LVM is a low value male, and an HVM is a high value male.
I want to wear a hat that says LVM on it.
Yeah.
I want to wear it everywhere, and I want people to ask me what it means.
So she asks, have you noticed low value men yawning when intimidated by a conversation? Ladies, like
wait, sorry, one more time, just because I'm so caught up on this.
Have you noticed low value men yawning when intimidated by a conversation? Ladies, like the title says, have you noticed this behavior in men? I have an ex that used to do this, not necessarily in conversations he had with women, but generally when he didn't seem to have an adequate comeback. My Uber driver tonight did the same thing while forcing me to be a part of a conversation I was trying to not engage in, and I think this is something low-value men do when they're intimidated by the conversation and trying to stall and think of an answer, or to imply that the conversation is boring to them. Have you noticed this behavior in the wild?
In the wild.
So it's a yawn. It's a yawn.
This isn't like, these aren't female incels.
Oh no,
these are the females that create incels.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what. Okay, I get what you mean by they're the anti-incels. They are everything that incels fucking fear and loathe.
These women have the most unrealistic standards for men that I've ever witnessed.
These are like
by any one person.
You've probably seen this on, like, I'm thinking specifically like American Dad, Family Guy. This trope has been championed a couple times. The female who is obviously like a low 4'3" or something like that. And like, I've had lots of guys. I always have guys talking to me. They're always trying to talk to me. Yeah. No, plenty of guys, and they're always talking about it. That kind of.
But it's not quite that. It's like I'm so good that no one else around me is good enough for me.
They invented an acronym.
Like it's like that. I have one.
That hurt me.
I have this one's a bit a little bit of a story, but bear with me because it was good.
I'm hooked.
It was good enough that I had to screenshot it.
The Facebook algorithm has read my engagement here.
So I can't even read their fucking username. I don't know what the fuck that says.
Try, please.
Patitissima? I don't know.
Okay, sure.
Well, what she asks is, what if a high value man
an HVM
broke up with me because I was acting stupid / LV, low value? This is my first contribution ever over here, so I'm not even sure if it's getting posted, but I'm a long-time lurker, and FDS has helped me so much, female dating strategy. Well, I'm definitely a recovering pick-Misha.
Oh, God!
I'm a recovering pick-misha that did all kinds of unbearable things for the lowest of low-value men. It took me a long time to forgive myself for being this way, and I'm actually ashamed to this day for many things I did and let others do to me. I was single for a very long time due to this and actually didn't want to date when I suddenly met and ultimately fell for this guy. He is quite a bit younger than me, but unusually mature, attractive, and a true gentleman. He never asked or let me go 50-50, suggested and mostly planned high-quality dates, and even paid in full for a weekend trip to another city. We had no sexual contact at all before we had established an official relationship, and he was never pushy about it. Everything was perfect. And then somehow the pick-misha in me came back around and I started behaving in my exact old ways. I started getting jealous over basically nothing, and he was understanding and let me read through his messages, deactivated his Snapchat, and started posting me on his Instagram. Yet I continued picking fights over basically nothing and clinging onto him like a little monkey. Her words, not mine. He started talking to me about this issue in a very respectful and understanding manner, but explained that for him it can't go on like this. Agreed. Told him I'd stop doing these things, and yet continued being the worst human being towards him. And with every move I pulled, I realized he is distancing himself more and more, yet I couldn't help or stop this. Today he broke up with me. Despite me being an emotional train wreck, he was very understanding. He explained how it breaks his heart to see me having an absolute emotional outburst, and when I begged him for another chance to prove that I'm not horrible person that I was, I know, please don't behead me, and we may end up in a few weeks/months and see how we feel about each other, he did say yes. Honestly, I kind of feel like I was the LV and for some reason acted all crazy, which definitely has happened in previous relationships, but with LV men. And I try to wrap my head around what happened. I'm truly afraid I lost a HV man that treated me like a queen because I was the LV person in this relationship. Has this ever happened to anyone? How do you deal with this? Or is my perception so deceived that I make more out of him than he actually was? I'd really appreciate some insight. The comments.
I see. Okay, before we get into the comments,
I want to date this guy.
First,
can I just say that I want to fucking date this guy?
First of all, definitely an HV, 100% HV. Get this man an HVM hat.
I'm straight. I'd still date them.
No, 100%. This guy deserves the poon. But the language, I don't even have a problem with her post. I think she was being completely just. She was being whatever a pick-misha is.
I want to say, I do want to say that despite the insanity of like what this subreddit has turned this woman into,
do you know
she was being pretty lucid with it, right?
The way that like a boomer feels when the kid's hitting you with all the on fleek, no cap fucking talk. That's what I felt like listening to this. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You fucking... What are you kids into? Oh. Even though I agree with her diagnosis that she's a pick-misha? A pick-me girl.
Yeah, a pick-me girl.
Fuck off. Just say pick-me girl.
So here's my thing, right? I think...
PMG.
In all fairness, I think what this girl realized was that, yeah, she was being... like the stereotypical crazy girlfriend. Yeah, she's getting to Mickey, right?
So now the other shoe drops.
But here's the thing, though. That shit does not stand on female dating strategy.
They didn't like that she was devaluing herself. She was the queen. He was the bitch. I know.
He's don't do for sure.
Don't do this to me. God.
If he was an HVM, why did you need to ask him to deactivate his Snapchat? Why was he on Snapchat? If he was a high value male, why did you need to ask him to post you on his Instagram if he uses it already? Why did it take you requesting that? Why do you call this, quote, getting jealous over basically nothing, end quote? Why isn't it your gut telling you that, as nice and patient as he seemed, he wasn't taking the relationship that seriously? Why wasn't this just a case of you reacting naturally to the contradiction in front of your eyes? Him saying he's really into you but acting respectful but lukewarm. Why do you need Luke Skywalker why do you need to doubt yourself? Sometimes a really, really, really nice, sweet guy is still just using you, but nicely. If anything, you maybe should have dumped him when you noticed he was keeping you secret on Instagram and still using Snapchat.
If they could find landmines as easily as they could find things to complain about, not a single human life would ever have been lost to a single landmine in the history of mankind. And they would have roasted me just for using the word mankind. What? Tyler Koenig. This epic failure of a dating experience cost this LV no money. And yet he's still in the wrong. She got a free chance to date an HV, bro.
Yeah.
And it cost her nothing. And these whores. Dude, I can't. I'm gonna fucking explode.
I'd like to put a cap on this with another comment from the same thread.
Sure.
Tyler. Okay.
People on FDS often say that if you feel uncharacteristically...
Wait, FDS?
Female dating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Say that if you feel uncharacteristically anxious/suspicious in a relationship, and you can tell if it's uncharacteristic if you're not like this in other relationships, then it's your gut picking up on something. Part of someone being HV enough is that they're openly affectionate to the point where you just don't feel anxious. More importantly, though, the other part of being truly HV is being committed enough not just to bounce the moment someone mildly inconveniences you, and what you've done does seem like a mild inconvenience. You aren't ghosting him, slow fading, demanding an inordinate amount of space, cheating, etc. You're asking for reassurance, which isn't difficult to provide if the other person genuinely did nothing wrong. I've never dated someone who was unusually jealous, but even if they had jealous moments, it never made me feel uncomfortable. I had no problem reassuring them, and dumping them never crossed my mind. I think a man trying to make you internalize fears induced by jealousy is itself a red flag, and I would dump a man who made me feel ashamed over it, or who made me feel unusually jealous to begin with.
Zero responsibility for their own emotions.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. I can't begin to tell you, and that's just the one that, like, in the like short 20 minutes that I spent like scanning this subreddit, I mean, there were some that were just egregious. I mean, like, just outlandish.
I'm sure that was a light work.
Like that. The reason I chose that one in particular was because it was one that I could follow.
Because you didn't
like
want me
some
to
of
destroy my equipment while listening to it.
Well, some of them were legitimately like so outlandish that I thought it was a meme. But like, no, everyone on this fucking and if you even think about like commenting like bullshit, they'll
dox you.
They will block your ass so fast off that fucking subreddit. Like, you will never like. So I didn't follow it or I didn't comment, upvote, downvote, anything. I just read. I just lurked. I had to lurk.
A lurker.
I was a lurker. I had to get in.
It's the only safe way to do that.
I had to infiltrate the enemy camp. I had to go full Solid Snake.
I can't even describe how
LV
I feel.
undercover.
Like, I feel like people do when they say you shouldn't say Lord Voldemort in Harry Potter. Like, when you hear it, when they're in that tavern in the first movie and he says Voldemort and everybody's like,
it's like you just said the N-word.
Yes.
Like,
it's
that's
like
what
someone
Voldemort
just came in
is.
and started talking about why is this room so dark. That is just so uncomfortable, man. I can't even begin.
I feel like I have to put this out there. There are men that are equally disgusting in their own right.
Those men exist too.
Like, there are plenty of those types of men that have like the same
men's rights activists,
twisted view, like the same like just fucked up worldview, right?
The meninists,
but it's the meninists.
They assign value to people.
Yeah, like women are, but it's the same underlying issue. Is like these women see men as a commodity, and and there are men that see women as commodities. It's the degradation of another human being that's so appalling to me.
They're LVs.
Yeah, and it's dehumanizing.
And like It's
like they're working on cars. Yeah, if that's an LV, you want to unscrew that, take that bitch out and throw in the trash. We'll get you an HV in it.
We'll get you a good fucking carbon fiber HV.
I got chrome HVs. No, I highly recommend scrolling through this subreddit because it's a delight. It's a delightful read.
No. Did you not see
dude, you might actually punch a hole through your computer. It's bad.
Dude,
it's bad.
Instant transmission through rage. Dude. I'm just gonna fucking and just go through the fucking computer.
We should have fucking LVM on our totem for Lost Lands.
Oh my god.
It's in the crowd with a fucking sign looking for all LVM.
That's our new fucking clan tag for League. Dude, fucking LVM.
Wait. That's genius, dude. That's true. I'm going to be an LVM all day. Because I know that I am a fucking HVM and I want to fucking masquerade as an LVM. I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking low value, dirty spark plug. Fuck me.
I think what killed me too about that part of that last comment was talking like the anxiousness thing. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, Kate has anxiety. Okay, like she has pretty severe anxiety. She can't like help that. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, when she's having like a panic attack that I can say or do that will just make her feel better. Like, that's just such a piss poor excuse that, like, oh, well, I've been in relationships where the man never made me feel anxious or gave me anxiety or anything.
You don't have anxiety.
Yeah. Like, you don't have fucking clinical anxiety.
It's the assumption that, like, everybody in that group is born pretty much without any issues. And anything that you run into is someone else's fault.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's a bubble. That's a little echo chamber.
Yeah.
Holy mess, dude. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. No, most.
And if you asked me if these people exist, I'd probably be like, yeah, probably. But I would not have been as fucking incredulous as I am right now, dude. That's fucking painful.
I want to take a quick gander and see how many people are subbed to. Oh, sweet Christ.
Oh, no. How many?
243,000 queens leveling up. Because you know how, like, certain subreddits have, like, flares and shit? Yeah. Almost 244,000 queens leveling up. Which leveling up is a term that they use when they upgrade from an LVM to an HVM. They're
really
leveling
does sound
up.
like they're talking about stock trading.
Yeah. It's wild.
My LVM
it is
fucking account.
It is buck wild.
Got my LVM linked up to my Roth IRA. Oh my god. You know that fucking gif of the dude that is just like glued, like cemented into his seat on fucking just fucking scrolling. I'm sure there's several. That's like the female version of that. Do you think that they're all females?
On this subreddit?
Well, think about that though for a minute. Like, how do they respond to the LGBTQ community? That's what I'm wondering. Because what happens if you become an LVM?
Like as a queer
I'm talking
man?
about some Frankenstein level fucking science here.
What the fuck are you talking about?
If you are a part of this subreddit, and you are calling out LVMs and looking for your HVM, but then all of a sudden you transition and become a male, do you get to still have the same authority to call out LVMs and HVMs anymore?
I don't know, because I mean the
do you
ethics,
lose your card?
I don't know how to answer that question, but I mean, the ethics regarding like transgender people is the understanding that like
I'm not talking about the ethics. I'm talking about how these people. How do you think,
bro? I don't know. They could all. My assumption is they're probably all like fucking TERFs. Is what would be my fucking.
I guess what I was wondering is like, do they fall in that category of TERFs?
I didn't see any explicit evidence. Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
He dated a TERF.
I did date a TERF.
Yeah. Which I think that there's probably a lot about that is anything radical. There's probably something way beyond.
It's not even that she was like really that radical. It's just like it's like the same.
You're talking about
it's like the same. It's like the same girls that are getting canceled now. The like female collegiate swimmers that are speaking out against like the whole Leah Thomas thing. They're like being called turfs and shit because
I would say that's where most of them is like that's why I say radical, because there's always gonna be someone that's got a crazy opinion that I don't agree with.
Yeah,
but I do understand the whole sport. It's the whole sports thing.
Yeah,
where it's like they're just shattered. They go from 400 to like top 15.
Yeah,
and because they switched to the female. I'm like, yeah, dude, they're trying to make a name for themselves here, and you've been taking that sweet tea for like most of your known life.
Yeah. My opinion on that is just if that really just becomes something that is so like, because I mean like, the reality of it is like how many like transgender athletes are there probably in the world? I mean, there's probably a fair handful, and I'm not saying they don't.
I heard a good thought on that. Don't see a lot of guys becoming women and then competing in sports, or not becoming. Sorry, opposite. Females becoming men and then competing in their division. That doesn't. Yeah. You don't see that happening the other way.
My philosophy is just that I agree that that's the case, but like if it really is like that big of a thing, I mean, just make every sport. Just make every sport co-ed. I mean, if you're a woman and you want to fucking try out for the NFL, you have every right to do it. You have every right to do it. Doesn't mean that you're gonna get on a team, but go for it.
I guess
if you want to be a fucking kicker or punter or some shit,
it's a little
fucking
bit like
go
the
for
military.
it.
You can try. Anybody's allowed to try.
No, but that's horseshit though, because women don't have to do the same.
That's true.
The same like reps and shit that men have to do
in special forces.
Yeah, that's because they have to be the best of the best, and like that's and I've always said that. It doesn't matter who you are. If there's a standard, if there's like a bar and you can hit that bar, you can do the job. So like if you're a woman and you can fucking do the same shit that like fucking 300-pound brick shit houses can do,
yeah,
fucking absolutely,
yeah.
Because if you can do that, you can go fucking kick down doors in Kandahar.
Well, I think
like fucking go for it. At that
point though, what they're really worried about is the task. They'd be like, if we could program a robot to do this, we really could care less who does it. It just needs to get done. And so far, this particular group seems to get it done. But anybody can try as long as you're hitting those marks. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, just open it up.
Dude, when are robot sports going to become a thing?
When are robot soldiers going to be a thing?
I think they're already working on it.
I mean, we already have drones and shit.
Yeah.
When are we going to make clone armies like Star Wars?
That's going to be the end of the world.
The day you make fucking robot soldiers is the day the Terminator happens. I mean, they're going to fuck.
It's something like that. I think it's not going to be as glamorized as the Terminator, but it is going to be pretty fucking dark.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty fucking dark. Although what made Terminator is Skynet.
Sure.
You know, it's about the fact that they became self-aware. It's the whole paradox of like, oh, the best way to protect humanity is to eliminate humanity.
Sure.
That's the whole thing. I feel like that's not a hard protocol to install. And just be like, hey, do what's best for humanity, bar these list of things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it always seems to be like, oh, well, I mean, we want them to do the best at helping human beings. But then, yeah, of course, the ultimate conclusion is if they didn't exist, it would be easy. That's the best way to handle it.
That's the thing. That
seems like a very simple oversight.
That's the thing about programming, though, is it's like, it's never foolproof. It's almost very rarely do you ever see a program that somebody has made that works 100% of the time, every time.
Sure. But doesn't it seem like a basic, like video games, for instance? There are video games that that prevent those kinds of things from happening. All you have to do is make sure that doesn't happen in real life.
Sure, but like sometimes in video games, there's bugs, there's glitches, and the minute that it glitches and it realizes that, it starts learning. It might come to that conclusion.
I suppose the difficulty is defining that parameter of learning. Like, you would want them to be as smart as possible, right?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want it to learn certain things. But you'd have to find a way to define those things before you could tell them not to learn those things. But I think that our desire to make these incredibly efficient AI is going to accelerate way past our ability to define these boundaries. and that's what's gonna fuck us.
Sure.
You know, because the concept of teaching it, don't learn how to outsource humans to the point they go extinct. I think that's going to be such a complicated thing to teach a computer that by the time we figure out how to do it, the computers will have already figured out the rest.
I think that the problem.
What are you doing, Tyler? Dude, get out of here! Stop! Get out of here!
It's like a fucking Venus flytrap, bro.
I think the inherent problem with that though is the minute that you teach them the minute they're able to learn, they will start just learning. It'll get to a point where the computers are gonna be smarter than we are.
That's what I'm saying. Because the language is so complicated. You have to think about it. Like, it's not even like teaching a toddler, because a toddler is actually pretty capable of learning those things, but a computer is nothing. Like, you have to figure out. We are not good at putting a pause on progress so that we can figure some shit out first. We will absolutely let the robot figure it out before we do, and that's what's gonna fuck us.
Yeah.
Like the boundary of like, hey, don't learn this stuff because that will absolutely lead to the end of humanity. We will absolutely invent that before we find out we needed to teach it that first. You know what I mean? Before we find a way to, in code, define that boundary, we will absolutely invent something that supersedes that boundary before then. Yeah, sure. It's way easier to invent that thing that learns it for us than to learn it first. Yeah. And that's the sucky part.
Because I think that they just hedge their bets on like, oh, maybe it won't do that.
Hopefully. But like literally it's getting to the point where you can predict it down to a T. It definitely will and does. Lord Elon has told us.
Here's it's going to happen when they fucking crack quantum computers.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
I'm simultaneously stoked and terrified.
Oh, I'm horrified of it.
I'm stoked and terrified. But at the same time, every time they talk about like the limitlessness of quantum computers, they're like, it's going to be unhackable. Then you can Google it right now. There's a fucking article about quantum hacking, like that you will find a way to. But that is on another level.
Sure.
I mean, there's a much better quote, but I've heard something about like if there is basically the concept of like if there is a door, there's always a way to get through it.
Yeah,
kind of thing, you know.
But it seems like these kinds of adages were invented before, because this is an unprecedented time period. Like on one hand, there's the wisdom that leads you to believe that that's always true. You're right. There is always a way to get through that door. But then there's the other part where you read an article about the crazy, impossible. Like you read what quantum entanglement is, and you read about absolute zero, and you think about the fact that humanity has never even come close to even understanding what those things are, and now we're about to do them. Like that. So you start to believe that we can go beyond our own wisdom and our own understanding. Like just to give you a gist, I mean, I think you probably already know this, but like quantum computers, in quantum entanglement, one particle on one end of the universe does something, and by some association nigh comparable to magic, another particle on the other end of the universe will do the same fucking thing. And they're making before we understand why, because we really don't know why. And people who study quantum physics will tell you, if you think you understand quantum physics, then you don't understand quantum physics. That's when you stop understanding it. So we don't know why this happens, but we do know how to make computers that take advantage of it.
Google created...
Fuck us. Fuck us in the ass.
For
fuck us on our quantum asshole.
A fucking, like... I think it was like 100th of a second, Google created a time crystal.
Oh, you want me to Google something? I thought you were asking me to Google something.
No.
Google time crystal.
Google, the company Google, created what's called a time crystal. Where it was...
That's something from a video game.
Yeah. But I forgot to put in the crystals.
It's, apparently it's when, like, two particles vibrate at the same quantum frequency. It's quantum exactly what you were saying. It's like quantum entanglement, and it creates a state of perpetual energy. And there's something about it that affecting those particles' interaction with time that's why it's called a time crystal. But it only lasted for
Here's why. Because with quantum entanglement, you know how like when you fucking like if you had a pole that went from here to Pluto and you actually fucking moved it to the left, it would take so much time for the end of that pole to move to the left. It would actually be like kind of bending almost because of time. Quantum entanglement ignores that. That's why it fucks with time. Because it literally does happen at the same fucking time. What the fuck? That's wild. So if we're actually, if you're,
I'm just out here believing in Jesus.
When you're watching, so when you're watching Star Wars, right, and they're communicating from two different galaxies and simultaneous
they're on the same galaxy.
That's true, in a galaxy far, far away. But it's a galaxy is still large enough to fuck with time.
Oh yeah, sure.
Two ends of the galaxy, and they're having a little conversation. If they hadn't, like, we're assuming a lot, of course. Star Wars still falls under the umbrella of fantasy.
Yeah.
But if you are going to try to explain it with science, then just assume that they've invented something. It would be taking advantage of quantum entanglement, because those signals would have to be simultaneous. Somehow fuck with time and space in order to have those two conversations at the exact same time.
Oh yeah, so like two distances that are like light years away from each other.
Right.
Like you'd have to,
Like Interstellar absolutely doesn't exist in the same universe as Star Wars. That blows my mind. I want to see that video. I want to see like Aeronauts or something take advantage of it. Like, hey, how did that conversation really go? Well, Luke said hi, and then Obi waited 1,000 years, and then he said, "What's up?" He said, "What's up?" back. It was like sending smoke signals through space. It's like airmail through fucking galaxies. You could not talk to somebody if someone's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to this other side of the galaxy." Oh, bye forever. Like you until you're dead. Yeah, until you're dead.
This is the last time I'm gonna see you.
For the rest of the movie, when someone leaves a galaxy or a planet, they're pretty much out of the movie.
That galaxy, the planet explodes.
Yeah, they come back. And that the whole new race of human beings.
The star has fucking ruptured. Supernova.
Yeah, the fucking solar system explodes.
Jesus Christ. This is wholly off topic, but I don't know. Something Nolan said about particles or atoms or some shit like that. I can't remember.
By the way, I know for certain I fucked up some of the science on that.
Sure.
I know for certain I'm wrong on at least two different levels.
Sure.
But it was still fun to talk about.
I can't remember the exact number, but there's some like astronomically high number, like statistical chance of if you were to like take your hand and slap a fucking table,
it would go right through.
That all of the atoms in your hand and the table would like not align, so that your hand would just go like right through the table. That's fucking crazy to
bring
me.
up that bit.
That's crazy to me.
You know.
Oh, you're talking about fucking
like if I like clapped my hands,
what's the
atoms in my hands would like miss each other, and my fucking hands would just like.
Oh, they should, but they don't.
Yeah.
We don't know why. I was right, by the way. Quantum entanglement does ignore time.
It does.
Yes.
Oh.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about, though.
That comedian.
What the fuck is his name? He does a bunch of bits on YouTube. He did like
It's a lot of
Professor
comedians.
X firing all the X-Men. That whole sketch. That's really funny. All right. Well, I could probably Google it and find out. It makes no fucking sense. That's the bit. It makes no fucking. My hand should go through this table.
Oh, I wasn't referencing any particular like video. I was just talking about the science behind
I
it.
think you should pull that up though. I love.
I think that we probably can't. Because if we're posting this on YouTube.
Gotcha. Oh, because it's not YouTube.
Yeah, but I get what you're talking about. It is a good bit. That is a good bit. But we are at an hour 18. So that's a good stopping place. Okay. We've literally reached the edge of the universe in this conversation.
We started with penal vivisection and ended with quantum entanglement.
Yeah.
I think that's a good leap.
I'm a fan of humans because that is the kind of conversation you'll have. That is me being stimulated.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's what gets you going? That's your stimulation?
What fucking breaks you up?
Yeah. Exactly.
Not the sound levels.
That's what gets me fucking chubby. All right.
Wow. Happy Easter.